What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be getting into my December 6th. I was a day late, but who cares? Let's just count it as December 6th. Bracketology predictions from Joe Lombardi. Anyway, let's dive into this, guys. Starting with the bracket watch. Top overall seed stays with Houston for the moment. First team out, Penn State. Not going to be in right now. And then the last team in, St. John's. So let's look at the bubble watch right now. Last four byes, Rutgers, Utah State, new teams there. Missouri and Utah, another new team in Utah. I don't even think I saw Utah in the bubble earlier this year. But anyway, last four in, Kansas State. Michigan State has slid a ton right there. St. Mary's has also slid down there. And then St. John's. Then we got the first four out, Penn State, UNLV, New Mexico, and UAB. Next four out, Ole Miss, NC State, and Oklahoma State, and then Florida drops down there. So anyway, let's look at the whole bracket as a whole. Let's start out with the play-in games. The North, the 16 seed Sacred Heart is new to the field at 16. Number 11, we have Kansas State dropping down, as well as Michigan State, Northwestern State, and Grambling State are new to the field at 16. And then St. Mary's and St. John's dropping down there. So if we look at the Midwest region here, starting with the Midwest region, we have Houston staying at the 1 seed. Memphis is going to be jumping up to 8, and Texas Tech dropping down to 9. We have Illinois dropping down to 5, as well as Kent State jumping up to 12. Iona will be jumping up to a 13 seed. Creighton's going to be dropping down to 16. Then Arkansas is jumping up to 3. We have Bradley new to the field at 14. Virginia Tech's jumping up to 7. Rutgers is new to the field at 10. Kansas jumps up to 2. Then SIU Edwardsville jumping up to 15. If you look at the South region, Texas is the 1 seed there. North Carolina's dropping down to 8, as well as Arizona State jumping up to 9. We have Charleston new to the field at 12. Maryland jumps up to a 4 seed. We have Mississippi State jumping up to a 6. Arizona's going to be dropping down to a 3, and then we have Miami jumping up to a 7. Oklahoma's going to be dropping down to a 10 seed. Then we have Tennessee jumping up to a 2. And then Middle Tennessee State dropping down to 15. That Tennessee team was the team I predicted last time to win the championship. Let's go over here. Purdue continues their rise, jumping up to a 1 seed. We have Yale jumping up to a 12. UCLA is going to be jumping up to a 4 seed. Ohio State's going to be jumping up to a 6. And we have Baylor dropping down to a 3. Xavier is going to be jumping up to a 7. Missouri new to the field at a 10 seed. And then we have Virginia dropping down to a 2. In the East region, we have UConn jumping up to the 1. Cleveland State's going to be new to the field at 16. We have Wisconsin dropping down to an 8. Their fall continues. TCU jumping up to a 9. TCU just made the playoff. That is big for TCU fans. They're also in the Madness, so that's good for them. Kentucky's going to be jumping up to a 5. Gonzaga falls to a 4 seed, and Furman drops down to a 13. We have Utah new to the field at 11. Alabama's going to be jumping up to a 3. UMass Lowell going to be new to the field at a 14 seed. We have Iowa State jumping up to a 7. Utah State new to the field at a 10. Indiana jumping up to a 2, and then Longwood new to the field at 15. So anyway, guys, let's get into these the playing games. Starting out with Kansas State against Michigan State. Although Michigan State has struggled as of late, I am going to take them to beat Kansas State. Just a very well-coached team here. I think they'll at least win 1 game in this March Madness. Norfolk State against Sacred Heart. I am going to go with Norfolk State there. Then St. Mary's against St. John's. I'm going to go with St. John's right there. And then to finish it off, Northwestern State against Grambling State. I'm going to go with Northwestern State. So anyway, let's get into the madness. Starting out with the Midwest region here. Houston against Norfolk State. I do think that Houston can win this one. Memphis against Texas Tech. I am going to go with the 9 seed Texas Tech there. Don't really have that much faith in Memphis. Illinois, I do think can You know what, never mind. I'm going to go with a 12/5 upset. Kent State over Illinois. Illinois is a mediocre team, in my opinion, and Kent State is a decent enough team that can pull off an upset, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with Kent State there. Let's move on over here. We have Duke, I do think, can beat Iona. Creighton against Michigan State. Creighton has fallen, but I'm going to go with them over Michigan State there. And then Arkansas, I do think, can beat Bradley. Virginia Tech, I think, can beat Rutgers right there. And then Kansas, I think, could beat SIU Edwardsville. Let's go down here. We have UConn against Cleveland State. I'm going to go with UConn there. Wisconsin against TCU. Let's go with TCU with the 9/8 upset. Kentucky, I do think, could beat Sam Houston. Gonzaga, I think, could pull off the win over Furman. Iowa, I do think, could beat Utah. Alabama, I think... Oh, wait, no, not UMass Louisville. I think Alabama can beat UMass Louisville. Utah State against Iowa State. I want to go with the 10/7 upset. Why not? Let's go with Utah State right there to pull off the upset over Iowa State. And then Indiana, I think, could beat Longwood. So a lot of chalk on that region right there. Let's go over here. We have Texas. I do think could beat Northern Colorado. North Carolina really has fallen off a map. Here, that's kind of bugging me. Let me flip that. Yeah, I do think North Carolina can at least beat Arizona State. I think this might be a little bit too low. I know North Carolina struggled, but they were the 1 seed just a couple of weeks ago. Auburn against Charleston. I am going to go with Auburn there. Maryland, I do think could beat James Madison. And then I'm going to go with the 11/6 upset here. Give me St. Louis to pull off the win over Mississippi State. There, St. Louis, whenever you see, that team's from the A-10, whenever you see a team that's like not in a Power 5 conference, but they're a low seed, they could be a dangerous team in tournaments. But let's go with Arizona. I do think could beat Liberty right there. Miami, I do think could beat Oklahoma. And then Tennessee, I do think could beat Middle Tennessee State in that in-state game. Let's go down here. We have Purdue playing very good. I think they could beat Northwestern State. Would that be my... No, that wouldn't. Okay, I do think Marquette will be able to pull off the upset over West Virginia right there. San Diego State, I think, can beat Yale, although I could very much see an upset there. I'm going to go with UC Irvine, the 13/4 upset. Why not go with a 13/4? Usually you're going to have at least one of those in the tournament, and I think UC Irvine can surprise a lot of teams this season. So I'm going to go with UC Irvine right there. Never mind. I'm actually going to go with Yale here. San Diego State, they've honestly been overhyped, in my opinion. They've not been too impressive. They barely beat BYU a couple weeks ago. I'm not really impressed with San Diego State this season. And Yale, been a program that's really developed over the past few years under their coach. I think that Yale can pull off an upset. Let's go over here. Ohio State against St. John's. I am going to have to go with Ohio State there. And then Baylor, I think, could be Oral Roberts. Let's go Xavier over Missouri. Yeah, let's keep it. And then Virginia over Colgate. So anyway, guys, let's move on to the round of 32 for the spot in the Sweet 16. Houston, I do think, can beat Texas Tech. And then Duke, I think, will be able to handle their business against Kent State. Arkansas against Creighton. I'm going to go with 6/3 Creighton. I'm a believer in Creighton, man. I always have been from last year to this year. They have been struggling as of lately. They have lost a couple games, but I do think that they're a better team than Arkansas right now, and I think they're underrated at 6. Let's go to Kansas, Virginia Tech. I do think that Kansas will be able to pull off that win, the defending champions. Going over here, we have UConn against TCU. I'm going to go with a 9/1 upset here, my first one in this series. I don't know. I'm just not sold on UConn as a team this season. Just a little bit sus, There's always that 1 seed that I think can get surprised, and I think that's TCU, a decent 9 seed right there. I think they could pull off a win over UConn. Kentucky against Gonzaga. I'm going to have to go with Kentucky there, but that's a great matchup. Iowa against Alabama. I'm going to go with Alabama there. And then Indiana, I do think, can pull off the win over Utah State. Let's go over here. We have Texas against North Carolina. I do think Texas will win that game, although North Carolina could give them fits. Auburn against Maryland. I'm going to have to go with Maryland there, the 4 seed. Arizona, I do think, could beat St. Louis. And then Tennessee, I think, can beat Miami. All right, let's go over here. Purdue, I do think, beats Marquette. UC Irvine, I think the 13 seed can pull off a win over Yale. And then Ohio State against Baylor. I'm going to go with Baylor there. And then Virginia against Xavier. I'm going to go with no upsets for the 2 seeds. I'm going to go with Virginia. All right, let's go to the for a spot in the Elite Eight. Houston, Duke. I'm going to go with Houston. They're the best team in the country right now. Creighton against Kansas State. As much as I want to pick Creighton, Kansas is the better team. Not Kansas State. Kansas. They are the better team. They're the defending champs for a reason. I think they can beat Creighton. TCU against Kentucky. I am going to have to go with Kentucky there to win that one. And then Alabama against Indiana. I'm going to go with Indiana. So moving on over here, Texas against Maryland. I want to go upset, but I'm going to have to take Texas there. And then Arizona against Tennessee. I am going to go... Why not? Let's go Arizona. Last time I went Arizona to the Final Four, and I do think these 2 teams met at the right here. But I'm going to go with Arizona this time. Let's flip it. You know, this game could go either way like a lot of these. So I'm going to go with Arizona right there. Let's go over here. We have Purdue against UC Irvine. I'm going to take Purdue. And then Baylor against Virginia. Interesting matchup, but I'm going to go with the 3 seed Baylor right there. So let's go on. We got the 1 versus 2 seed Houston versus Kansas. I do think that Kansas can pull off the upset. You know, you always have that number 1 overall seed that never really wins, and they are vulnerable. I think that Kansas is a great team, and I'm going to go with Kansas right there. Kentucky against Indiana. I'm going to have to go with Indiana, the 2 seed, so we're going to have a 2 seed brawl there. Let's go over here. Texas against Arizona. Let's go with Texas there. That's tight, though. And then Purdue against Baylor. I'm going to go with Purdue. So for a spot in the national championship game, we have Kansas against Indiana. Tight one. I'm going to go with Indiana, though, the team that I picked to win last tournament there. Texas against Purdue. Let's go Texas. So for the national championship, we have Texas. We have Indiana. Let's go Texas right now. Very good Final Four appearances there. We have 2 Big Ten teams, but the Big Ten's going to come up short, in my opinion, again. So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this video today. Hopefully you all enjoyed the content. Comment down below your Bracketology predictions. And anyway, peace out.